Your brain has a system called the default mode network. It's the background program running whenever your mind drifts. The moment you wake up, this system decides the emotional tone of your entire day. If your first thoughts are rushed, anxious, or stressful, your brain locks into survival mode. But if you intentionally guide those first moments toward calm, focus, and gratitude, something powerful happens. Scientists call it neural priming. It's the process of setting your brain's default direction before the world gets a say. That's what these next 5 minutes are for. Not motivation, not hype, reprogramming. Step 1. The 60-second reset. The first minute begins the second you open your eyes. Before touching your phone, before checking messages, before mentally jumping into yesterday's problems or today's obligations. Pause. Let yourself exist in that half-awake space where nothing is required of you yet. Place one hand on your chest. Feel your breathing. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale slowly for 4. As you breathe, say quietly to yourself, "This is a new day. I get to start again." That sentence is not motivational fluff. It's a neurological interrupt. Your brain is wired to replay unfinished stress from the past. This phrase breaks that loop and sends a new signal forward. Here's why it works. Deep breathing stimulates the vagus nerve, a direct communication line between your brain and your heart. When activated, it lowers cortisol, slows your pulse, and tells your nervous system you're safe. Most people rush through this moment without realizing it shapes everything that follows. This single minute determines whether your day begins in reaction or intention. Step 2. The gratitude flash. Now that your mind is steady, it's time to guide its focus. Think of 3 specific things you're grateful for, not the big abstract ideas, not family or success or health. Focus on what your senses can touch, the way light enters your room, the warmth of your blanket, the sound of water boiling, the feeling of air moving through your lungs. Why small things? Because your brain doesn't fully trust vague gratitude. It trusts what it can feel. This activates something called selective attention bias. In simple terms, your brain starts noticing more of whatever you practice noticing. Each small moment of gratitude strengthens that neural pathway. You're training your perception the same way a camera lens is trained to focus. Over time, this becomes chemical, not just emotional. Each recognition of gratitude releases serotonin, the neurotransmitter responsible for emotional stability and contentment. Optimism isn't built by denying pain. It's built by expanding what you can see beyond it. Step 3. The micro movement. Now we wake up the body, because emotion lives in motion. Stand up, stretch your arms, roll your shoulders, do 10 jumping jacks, 10 squats, or move your body for 30 seconds. Not enough to exhaust yourself, just enough to change your state. Here's why this works. Movement releases dopamine, endorphins, and norepinephrine. These chemicals regulate motivation, focus, and mood. Even a small increase in heart rate improves oxygen flow to the brain, sharpening clarity and concentration. It's nearly impossible to stay emotionally flat while your body is moving with intention. Your physiology shifts before your thoughts do. That's why when you move first, your mind follows. So the next time you feel mentally heavy, don't overthink it. Move. It's the fastest way back to balance. Step 4. The mental mirror. Now that your body's awake and your focus is clear, ask yourself one simple question. What's one thing I can do today to make life 1% better? Not 10 goals, not your entire future. One small, measurable action. This question shifts your brain from helplessness to agency. It activates the dopamine anticipation loop, the system that rewards progress rather than perfection. Psychologically, our brains crave direction more than certainty. When you define a micro goal, mental noise decreases and clarity increases. Anxiety drops because your brain knows what comes next. Instead of waking up overwhelmed, you wake up oriented. That 1% doesn't feel dramatic, but repeated daily, it compounds into momentum that's almost unstoppable. Step 5. The positivity anchor. This final step is the glue. After completing the first 4 steps, say out loud, "No matter what happens today, I choose to stay positive." This isn't blind optimism, it's emotional discipline. Positivity doesn't mean pretending stress doesn't exist. It means deciding where your attention goes when stress shows up. Each time you repeat this anchor, you strengthen self-affirmation circuits in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for perspective and self-control. At the same time, activity in the amygdala quiets down. That's the fear and reactivity center. In simpler terms, you're training your mind to return to calm faster. You're not avoiding chaos, you're learning to stay centered inside it. That's the kind of positivity that lasts. It stops being motivation and becomes identity. How it all connects? Each step trains a different system. The reset trains awareness. Gratitude trains perception. Movement trains energy. Reflection trains direction. The anchor trains stability. Together, they form a habit loop. One action naturally leads to the next. That's why consistency matters more than duration. You don't need an hour-long routine. You don't need a perfect morning. You just need 5 intentional minutes that belong entirely to you. Within a week, you'll notice the shift. Less overthinking, faster recovery from stress, a quiet confidence that doesn't depend on circumstances. That's what happens when your mornings stop reacting and start reprogramming. You can't control how your day treats you, but you can control how you meet it. So take 5 minutes, breathe, move, choose. Say it one last time. I choose positivity. Because when you start your day choosing calm and clarity, the rest of the day quietly follows. If this message helped you, share it with someone who might need a reset. Positivity grows faster when it's passed on. And if you enjoy decoding the psychology behind human behavior, subscribe to Educated Wonder, where we don't just scroll through lives, we understand minds.